Ancient Sumerian text describes something extraordinary, a Stargate, a device said to connect our world to another. In 2003, the U.S. invaded a land where it may have been buried. The official reason was weapons of mass destruction. But what if that was just a cover? Long before modern nations, Iraq was the cradle of civilization. It was also the home of stories about gods descending from the sky and powerful objects hidden beneath the earth. According to scattered reports and suppressed findings, the U.S. military wasn't after oil. They were after something ancient and possibly dangerous. This isn't science fiction. This is a history that was buried. And tonight, we're going to uncover it. Iraq was once known as Mesopotamia, the land between rivers. And it was there over 5,000 years ago that the Sumerians built the first known civilization. They gave us writing, astronomy, and legal systems. But in their texts, they also described the Anunnaki, beings from the sky who brought knowledge and rule from great towers. These writings mention gates. Divine codes tied time, power, and space. Some believe these were metaphors. Others are not so sure. One passage speaks of a shining passage that allowed the gods to move freely between earth and the heavens. Another references a device buried in the foundations of a temple, guarded, feared, and worshipped. The Anunnaki weren't just visitors. They were engineers of civilization, credited with building the infrastructure of society. Temples, irrigation systems, celestial calendars. Everything tied to movement, cycles, portals. In the early 20th century, German archaeologists uncovered ruins in the ancient city of Ur. Beneath the ziggurats, they found structures and stones that didn't match known construction methods. The dig stopped abruptly. Artifacts vanished. Reports were sealed. What were they hiding? And why did the findings disappear into private collections and classified archives? The ziggurat of Ur stands as one of the last great monuments of ancient Sumer. According to some legends, it was a site of descent and ascent, where gods crossed between worlds. Could it have housed a device? A portal? Patterns in ancient texts describe rings, movement, and alignment, possibly star-based navigation. The symbols match later depictions found in other ancient civilizations, from Egypt to Mesoamerica. The concept of gateways between worlds isn't isolated. It's global. From stone circles in Britain to the temple gates of Angkor, the architecture often reflects orientation to stars, solstices, and unknown reference points. Were they merely religious or functional? In 1991, during the Gulf War, U.S. forces bombed areas near Nasiriyah, but left Ur untouched. In 2003, they returned, but this time, the ruins were occupied, not by historians, but by military units with classified orders. Why place soldiers there, unless something beneath the sand mattered more than the war above it? Satellite footage showed unusual structures being unearthed, then covered again. No public record followed. The world was told Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, but those weapons never existed. Meanwhile, museums and archives were raided. The National Museum in Baghdad was looted within hours of the invasion. Ancient artifacts, thousands of them, disappeared. Many were never recovered. Elite U.S. units were sent not to oil fields, but to archaeological sites. Babylon, Ur, Eridu. These locations weren't strategic. They were symbolic and old, very old. Witnesses spoke of sealed zones, cargo airlifts, and underground activity. Leak notes referred to non-standard materials, geometric interference, and containment operations. And then there were the files, internal communications from intelligence sources referring to exotic material recovery and interference fields. Vague terms, military euphemisms for something they didn't want to find. It didn't sound like war. It sounded like extraction. According to unofficial sources, former contractors, whistleblowers, even Iraqi locals, the military discovered something unusual beneath Nasiriyah. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't technology as we know it. It was something else. Some described it as emitting a hum. Others mentioned strange energy fields. There were even stories of personnel getting sick or being reassigned without explanation. Satellite images allegedly showed excavation activity, followed by rapid closure. The area was placed under high surveillance, and local access was permanently restricted. Some claim what they found was a ring structure, deeply embedded, metallic, and unlike anything seen before. Not a machine in the modern sense, more like a construct, inert, but not dead. It was said to respond to sound, to pressure, to patterns and frequency. One theory suggests that the gate was dormant and that it required harmonic resonance to activate. This connects with ancient texts that describe music, chanting, and ritual alignment with celestial events as keys to open the path of the gods. Whatever it was quickly sealed off. The ruins were closed. The object, if it existed, was taken and never spoken of again. Or was it about access to something older than any government, buried before history began? Stargates, portals, and wormholes appear in ancient stories, religious texts, and even declassified documents. Maybe they're more than metaphor. If a Stargate existed and someone took control of it, then history isn't just written by the victors, it's hidden by them. And if that's true, the invasion of Iraq wasn't a war. It was a recovery mission. Consider this. Within months of the invasion, satellite access to key archaeological zones was restricted. Independent researchers were denied entry. The story disappeared from public interest. It's not just about Iraq. It's about what Iraq may be sitting on and why certain powers have long fought for control of that region under different flags for thousands of years. Ancient knowledge, lost technology, portals, weapons, and perhaps answers to who we really are. Maybe the gate was closed, but the question it left open still echoes. What else is buried out there? And who decides we're not ready to know?